Hello, Pathway. We wanted to give you a quick update as it relates to what's happening next here for us as a church body. Some changes in regarding when we planned on coming back together again as a community. We wanted to do that actually this coming weekend. And we just made some decisions along the way, been very watchful of what's been happening in our community with COVID, but also looking to see how best we can serve this body overall. So once again, I got Ben Miles with us. And Ben is our board chair. And Ben, let's talk a little bit about just the reasoning for making a decision to not go this coming weekend and waiting until the weekend after July 4th.
Absolutely. So Ron, I think you said it well. We've been very watchful about what's happening in our community, really getting a lot of feedback with experts who are really guiding what is the appropriate cadence around which we should get a large gathering like this together.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that has really helped to guide our decision, though, is knowing that a lot of the members who attend Pathway want to come here, and we want to make sure that that isn't going to be hindered. So we were thinking really after the 4th is going to be a window of time that we can look to, and we'll be able to open our doors and really have greater flexibility and freedom to have folks come here to Carroll Road and still have some presence online for those who want to follow online.
Yeah, it seemed like up until just really a couple weeks ago, we were having to do an awful lot of work to really prepare for fewer people.
Right.
Instead of being able to welcome everyone back.
Exactly.
And after the 4th, we're able to not have necessarily a lot of those requirements or those protocols placed upon us, and the freedom to actually invite more back by still doing some social distancing,
right,
being mindful of that, but having less regulations, I guess you could say, kind of pulling at us.
Absolutely. And I think, had we made the decision for this weekend to open, I'm fully confident that the measures that we would have put in place, it's just given us more time to prepare for that.
It really does.
So I think, we are going to be safe when we open, and we want to be able to welcome as many on the campus as we can, as you said, really adhering to those social distancing guidelines.
Yeah. So on July 5th, we're going to welcome you back actually to the campus. We're going to come together as one group on that Sunday morning, and it's going to be at 11 o'clock for a time of prayer, a time of kind of recommitting ourselves back together in community physically here on our campus. And then the plan is to kick back into services then the following weekend, Saturday night and 2 Sunday mornings at this point. And so just want to give you we'll give you more information on the 5th as we get closer to it. What can you expect there? In the meantime, I just want to encourage you, continue to stay connected online. Our online team has done a fantastic job of making that online service meaningful and I think practical, but also very personal to each and every one of us. And just hundreds and hundreds of you are watching on a weekly basis. And so continue to use that as well as a tool to push out to your friends as we continue to walk through this season together. And you've been so faithful in your giving. So Ben, talk a little bit about the giving piece and how that's been a blessing to us.
Absolutely. So I think the faithfulness that each of you have shown by giving financially is certainly one area that comes to mind. And this is something that, certainly not just Pathway, but a lot of organizations are watching very closely. And just to see the remarkable consistency that you've shown. This past week, we did see a little bit of a dip, and we're just kind of watching that, knowing that we are heading into our summer season.
Yeah.
So it's not unusual. But really just want to commend each and every person who calls Pathway their church home for really continuing in that faithfulness.
Yeah, and you have served so well as in addition to not only your financial giving, but also how you've given in practical ways through the giving of food and essential items that have been distributed to a couple other churches in our city for food distribution, and then you all came together for the Fort Wayne United box food distribution project we did a number of weeks ago. 500 boxes were brought in. They were distributed in one night to that community. We're stepping back into that. And so you can come pick up another box and fill that up, have it back to us by July the 5th, and it'll be distributed that week down around the Weiser Park area. Just another way in which we can touch our community and really what has been a very challenging season for our city, for our nation. not only with COVID, but now with what we're dealing with regarding the issues of the racial tensions and what's happening in our city with protest. And we want to be a positive example and a positive light to our city and with our partners that we've come alongside of. And this is one way in which you can do it. So in the meantime, just want to thank you for all the ways in which you've demonstrated just your faithfulness to us as a church. Even though we've not been meeting physically, as we've been saying it, we've never stopped meeting, and you've continued you've continued to stay engaged, and for that we're very thankful. And we'll see you physically in a few weeks, but certainly see you online this coming weekend.